for this purpose, we show you what we've been working on lately. So for the first quarter, actually, our focus was really to get our courses online. So we are somehow aligned with what the tech team does. The tech team has tried to improve the library functionalities, and we have tried to put our content online so that there is something in the library that we can share with other communities. And I'm going to recap a bit what...
Hi, my friend. I'm sorry, I have a bad connection. Hi.
Okay. Amin, good to have you here. Maybe you just listen in now. We share a couple of slides, and then afterwards we have a Q&A. Valentin, maybe you also text in French a bit as a support.
Yeah, I'm in direct contact with him.
Well, it's great that Amin is joining. So as far as I know, Amin is working in Marseille with refugees, and I was introduced to him by a friend of mine in Austria who has studied in Marseille. So it's a, you know, connection around three corners. So I'm jumping here into the slides. I hope you see my screen. And you might remember from last time that we were talking about the library concept, and then you were introduced to this idea of being able to upload things into the library and then downloading best practices into your own community. And today we're going to share with you a couple of different examples. And the examples that we'll share with you is how to create a course with participant resources, so and resources in each session. So that's already quite a complex functionality that Gloria will explain based on the mobile campus that we have developed in St. Pölten. Then I will show you how to create a course from the library. And we will do this with our film program that we are about to finish next week. It's on ecological psychology. Then we're going to create a public best practice from a course. And this is what Giuseppe will share with you. Another course that we have developed in Shanghai on appropriate technology. And then we will create a private course, a private best practice. I will show you this functionality with our first aid training. So this is what we're going to do live on the ARK. And with this, I'm kind of closing this here again, stop sharing. And Gloria, you can share the ARK mobile campus directly with everybody. I would say after each functionality, we do a quick Q&A. If you have any questions, how it works.
Yes, do you see my screen already?
Yes.
Okay, so how I created the course was actually starting from a best practice on the library. And it was only an event at that time, but I think it's still here on the library, maybe it's not here anymore. Yeah, big friendly, but yeah, this event, big friendly giant. And so if you click on it, then you can create the activity. And this is how it looks like now. I'm gonna show you only the big friendly giant, which is part of a mobile campus in our spring program, but we have also created the plants and friends as part of this mobile campus. So here's how the course look like now. The course is based on 12 different routes where we walk around the town and we go and look for those huge trees that are growing around St. Pölten. Like actually the biggest one has a girth that gets to 9 meters is actually a black poplar. And so what you see here in the first screen is the description of the activity, of what we generally do, a program overview with all the session, a general schedule, then you get the age, the duration of the program, what to bring, And then you can add some details. In our case, you get like a badge at the end of the course, a nature monument guardian. And what else you have is, of course, you also see the tickets from every sessions, right? And you have the impact points for the total that you get if you do all the course, which are 720. If I enter then in each, then what do you see as resources? Yeah, I even uploaded, yeah, sure, the resource with the general template with all the trees that you are going to see. But then if you enter in every session, like I will select one of them, maybe the first one I can select, which is, here you see Fihofen. Then you only see like the name of the name of the session and the impact point and the facilitator. But if I click on it, you enter into a separate page of the event, and here you have a complete event. So where you see the description of the event, and you see again the duration of a singular event, what to bring for this specific one, the schedule, the ticket. Plus I have added resources for the participants, which in this case is a PDF. We can look into it. Yeah, you see it. Okay, so yeah, this is our first page, an introduction page, and you get to a quote about big friendly giants, the importance of trees for Maria Montessori. And where we are, we have a page with general information about St. Pölten. So like, the size of the town, how many inhabitants, and the fact that we have the highest number of nature monuments in Austria. And then we have a map of the bioregion and in Europe and Asia. And general information about this specific walk, where we have a starting point, how long is the walk, how many natural monuments we have defined in this walk, and the tree species that we will find. Plus, we have all like an explanation for each tree that we are going to see, so that they can be a little bit prepared on like the species that we're going to meet already, and which like is an ID card, so you have a visual description, usages, biogeography, interesting facts, and period of observation, and all the pictures that are needed to describe the trees. And then what else is in this PDF for people? There are quite a lot of trees. How to describe trees. So then we get into those slides that we usually, they are really important, to teach, especially for children, but I would say also for adults, because they have really specific words. And then, like, for example, like really, to describe like every shape of leaves, so that people can be prepared during the walk, and we can have like a more botanic approach on the trees that we meet. Then like a general slide about green steps and our methods and how to contact us with all the QR codes. And
yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the main takeaway here is that this is a course consisting of 12 sessions, and it is now possible for each session to provide material, information in form of a PDF or a PowerPoint or a Word file to the participants as an additional resource. Yeah, so that's the course that we wanted to show.
I would say it was really easy to make the course. The only things but there are still some improvement that has to be done, because now it's not pre-filled in every section. So it will get better, I think, in the next month.
Yep. So people have been having a lot of hands-on work with the functionality, and we're getting a lot of feedback from them about how it can be improved. So this is basically what we are working on now. Yeah. Cool. And Knut, do you want to continue with other programs that we want to show?
Yeah. So I'm going to show you now another functionality. You see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we go now together into the library. I change language to English. Okay. So we go together to the library. And I mentioned before that there is this course, Genuine Growth. You see here this icon, it indicates the learning path. This icon is the learning path, ecological psychology. And if I click on it, I see this entire course. I see where it was created. In this case, it was created by me. It is supposed to be actually for adults, so it's ages 15 plus, in total duration 36 hours. And we have learning aims, so it's really nicely designed here. It should show you as a template how you could also design your courses. Then there is an overview of all the sessions, so 12 sessions, and you learn here about the content of each session. Then there is the pedagogical instruction, how to facilitate the course. And then more details on what you need and what the participants will need for the facilitation, plus a schedule. And again, also what Gloria showed, resources. So a program that explains how the course is structured in total. So what we want to do together is now to create, out of this best practice in another community, a course that can be facilitated. So we use here Robin Hood and the Band of Long Stockings. You know, this is our community to just try a bit. And I say create activity. And whoop, there we are. We have taken this entire content from the best practice. And we select now a new facilitator. Let's say this is Valentin. You see, Valentin is the facilitator of this new course in the Robin Hood community. We make it public and we say that there is again contact information, for example, an email, info at Robin the Fearless at Nottingham. And you see it's saved already to drafts. And the only thing that we have to define here basically is the when and the where. Everything else is pre-filled. So it's super easy for other communities to create from this practice, from this best practice something. Let's say the 12-week course takes quite some while. We don't want to start too early. Let's start on Sunday, May 1st. Let's say it is a film program, so let's do it Sundays. I always like Sundays 4 p.m. Have something challenging until lunch, and the course will end, so it's 12 sessions now. So we start on May 1st, 8, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It finishes on July the 17th. It's also a Sunday, and it finishes at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. 7 p.m. And let's see if Nottingham is already here. No, Nottingham is not here. So let's just make it easy. For the purpose of the presentation, we do it online, okay? But of course, it's going to take place in the forest of Nottingham. And then everything else is pre-filled. I mean, I could, of course, change the age limit, but if I'm happy with this, I just say forward. And then everything else, again, is pre-filled. Nothing to do here anymore.
Well, you need to set the time for the sessions.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, time for the session. So time for the session would be here. Well, that would be taking now a while.
Yeah, I think you can skip it actually you can click on the top. You have to select the time for each session. Unfortunately, this cannot be done automatically. But on the very top, you can go to the next step.
Yeah, so here you can define basically the time for each session. And then you go to resources. You could provide here additional information. Like, for example, you get a specific badge for completing the course. You could add here different files, maybe in your own language. And then you set up the tickets. So we have it here in the best practice library, of course, as a free of charge. But maybe you want to charge something and you want to say, okay, I want to have here a maximum of 18 participants. It's an adult ticket. And my currency is whatever, Korean won. Do they use Korean won in Nottingham? So maybe they use euro now. No, let's say you want to have it 3 euros. And payment method, we currently only do cash. So people pay upon arrival. Pay upon arrival. No refund. No refund. And then you could ask, of course, also questions. I don't know. What is a good question? Huh? What is a good question? Do you wear glasses? Long stockings? Done. So I mean, we use the question section mostly for COVID currently, but of course there are many other things that can be asked and are necessary for different events. And then that's it. There's a preview. This is how it looks like. Yeah. And you only press publish. And then it's online. I guess the publish right now doesn't work because we didn't fill the time slots.
Might be the reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So you need to define the time slots for each session. And then it's online and you can implement it in your community. So, I mean, I have done it in SDP and it worked perfectly fine. The feedback that I can give here as an alpha user is that it's really an empowering feeling, because once there is a best practice there and you know when you want to implement it and where, it takes you like 15 minutes to create an event from scratch. And that's really a good experience. Good. That was what I wanted to share. Any questions?
Yes. Is it possible, because, you know, for example, mine, I have published something and there is so many mistakes. I was a bit in the speed. I was scared to go back to update some information or change, that I will lose everything. So I didn't try. You got it? To correct, edit, modify, to go back.
Basically, like going back, like you were afraid that if you went back in the process, like changing some things that you've added previously, you would lose all your information?
Yes, that was
interesting.
Yeah, but you don't. So the process is very simple. We have an automatic save mechanism. Whenever you press next, everything that you edit, it is saved. So once you press next, the screen that you have just edited is saved. And then you can always press back. If you have not pressed next, yeah, and you go back, then the information might be lost.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, for example, you can go back to update finish the last session or the time, ending time. Knut, of what you just did. It's easy. You would not lose anything. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You never, basically you only would lose something if you just go back. Yeah. You would only lose the things that from the current page. So if you need to save, you always need to go next. Yeah. Otherwise, you can go back any way you want and nothing gets lost or deleted.
Another question is, if I have not the time to finish what I am doing,
yeah,
how I can save for a while?
So every time that you go next, you get the notification on the top right of the screen that says it was saved in drafts. So
Okay.
maybe I can share my screen quickly, and I can go to to the library. So if you are working on a best practice, then you find it in the drafts in here. Yeah, here are all the drafts that people are working on currently. You would find, you will always see the drafts from the communities where you have access to. Yeah, same for events. If you are working on an event, it's always saved to drafts, and you can find it on the events tab in drafts in here. Yeah, so that's the place where everything gets saved by default until you publish. Well, after you publish it, it moves to the publish tab.
But have you thought about actually inserting a button who says save instead of next? Like, or having both, like next and save?
That could be an option.
Yeah, also because every time you save, you also have to go next, and maybe you don't always want to go next, but you just want to save, but you don't want to go next. So, I mean, it doesn't take long to go back again to our page, but still, maybe if you could just press save and just keep working on the same page.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
I think that more the way that it's mostly being done nowadays is that there is no save button and everything is saved automatically as you type. So I think we can skip the save button and directly go to automatic save all the time.
Yeah, but people have to understand that if they save it only the moment in which they press next, because it's not really.
Yeah, so currently the beta version, this is the way it is.
That's why we put the notification every time you press next, you have this green bubble saying this has been saved to drafts.
But it might be a bit unclear if you never heard this, when exactly it's saved.
Yeah,
well, if you are confident with the tools like that are very spread now, like Google Documents package, we don't have the save button anywhere because it's just an online tool, like Lucas says. So yeah, this is, if we have to go to a standard, I think that is the direction.
Yeah, cool. But thanks for the feedback. Definitely, it's important to know that it is not clear now, so we will make it more clear. Yeah. For now, just remember that every time you press next, it's saved. Every time you press back, the changes are not saved, but also nothing gets deleted. Nothing ever gets deleted unless you delete it. Yeah. So you will have to delete the things and then press next, so that you lose something. That's it. And everything is in drafts always. Go to drafts. Good. Any more questions?
So then maybe Giuseppe, you continue with creating a public best practice from a course.
Yes, sure. If there is no further question on the previous parts, I go with my screen. If I can share. Here. Okay, do you all see my ARK profile, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we are going to do now is the reverse process. So basically uploading uploading a local course into the global library of best practices. So here we are in the community page of Green Steps STP, and at the bottom we have a course that I created last week for. I just give you an overview of it. It's a collection of films about the impact of technology. Now the structure is exactly very similar to what Knut just showed. So we have all the information about the forum, and all the sessions. For each session we have a description of the single movie. We go back to the as a manager of the content, we can go into the dashboard, and just with a very simple click we can create a best practice here out of this course. This means again that we need to decide in which community we want to have this best practice. So basically we can say for which community was designed. Now, for the purpose of the presentation, again, we are going to use Robinhood as a band of long stockings. But of course, if you design this activity in your community, you are going to attach it to your community as well. So we select the community and we create the best practice. And again, with a boom, we are in the dashboard of the best practice. Now, what we have to do, of course, by default, here we have my name as designer of a course. But for example, I can select anybody if I'm doing this, or if I'm doing this on behalf of someone else. I can actually edit, and so I can put Knut as a designer because he was the one who designed. This is important passage because we want to give with this tool the credit to the original designer of the activity that we are uploading in the library. And it's already almost everything is already pre-filled. So it's a course. It is a course. Yes.
I would say if you don't put yourself here, then you will not be able to edit this later. Yeah, only the designers are able to edit the best practice. And so don't cut the branch under yourself.
Giuseppe, you are also part of the designing team now. I mean, you did a lot of the content, so I think you need to add up both. Then the problem is resolved.
Okay, yeah, sure. I was doing that mostly for the presentation, but okay, I put myself back.
Both.
Okay. Okay, so so we can decide if it is public or not, and then we hit next. And here is everything basically pre-filled. So we have the age range, the title, the description, the learning aim. Hit next again. And we have all the duration. The duration is, of course, the cumulative of 20 sessions of movies. That's why we have this high number. We can decide to attach a learning path to our course, but for this case, we actually have already attached a learning path for each session. So it's up to the designer deciding if we want to do this or not. But I think that is redundant. And we can decide to attach a schedule block, but this is not the best thing to do for for this kind of course, because we are going to have this later in the directions for the instruction for the course. So no need to scroll over them actually, but just hit next. And here we have all the sections that are actually not fitting this specific course because it's an indoor activity. But you hitting the I, you can have all the information on how to fill in. So if you want to go in depth, you are free to leave this empty or to go in depth into the details for the activity that you want to design. And we of course encourage you to do that for the activity that we upload in the best practice library.
Pepe, can I just add one thing here? The
yes.
pedagogical information for courses is not necessary for outdoor activities. So all those fields do also apply to indoor activities. We plan to implement this course in summer as a summer cinema next to a local lake with a local restaurant. And you can still think, of course, what are the learning aims in there. So how you structure any of the best practices pedagogically, that's up to the designer. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was, yes, I was not exactly on this point, right. Thank you for precising. So here there is the facilitation schedule, which where we give a direction to the future moderators of this course on how to structure it. Of course, we are going to have this is a best practice. So anyone who is going to create a new course out of this best practice can decide to plan it anytime. So of course this gives a direction on how to organize this course and these activities in your own community. And as was showed before, we can add details about the equipment and that we require, which again can be or not the case to add for this kind of activity, and also facilitation material that can be, in this case, actually very interesting because can be attached to more lesson like we did before this course in Shanghai. We attach TED Talks to each session, so this can be an extra that can be here, maybe just a document with all the reference to replicate that and so on. And finally, since this is the last step, we just hit on publish and we have it online. So now when we go to our library, we are going to find it, and this is open for anyone in the world to access it and to replicate it in its own community. Yeah, that's it. This is the end of my sharing. And if there is any question about this.
Sorry, I'm the one asking a lot of questions. Can you just come back to the first things you did? It was a click right to move to best practice, to open the best practice. The first gesture you did.
You're muted, Giuseppe.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the first step I took is something that you can do from any event, of course. So yeah, I opened now one of the one that was presenting before. So when you go in the dashboard, here there is this button, the last button of the list, that is create best practice, if this is what you mean.
Yes, it's exactly what I mean. So you go in event course, and after I cannot see your arrow moving.
What do you can see?
Event course, and you open it, and after you create, you move to best practice.
After hitting create, you get to the dashboard that I showed you. So you can add you can assign it to a community, and you can and you can assign the designer, and you proceed with the creation of a best practice.
Okay.
All the process managers.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. The fourth and last functionality is creating a private best practice. So, I mean, why is this another functionality? A lot of the communities that we have been talking before we started also to develop the platform, they have maybe their own training, you know, some courses or events, they don't want to disclose with everybody, but still they want to have a best practice that can be used internally. Yeah. So you can create a best practice that is non-public, that is only shared with your own team or with your own community members. And I've chosen a very simple one. We are in the process of creating others with our nature guide training. And those are courses that we use internally to train others, but we don't disclose them to the entire world currently as a best practice. So I'm sharing again the screen with you to make this more tangible. Going to Firefox and jumping back into the ARK, and you
we see only a narrow white line.
I'm trying to share again. Now it should work. How is it now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going here into events and courses. And, you know, one of the ways to create the best practice is, and I think it's natural method, you first create an event or a course, you implement it a couple of times, you get good feedback, you know this is something really good, and then you create a best practice. Sometimes it might be the other way around, but usually I think that's the way to do it. We have scheduled a first aid training, which we implemented already last year for the 13th of May. Do you see here my screen? Course First Aid for Nature Guides. Yeah, it's a short course. It lasts 1 day, but has 4 distinct different parts. And if I click here on this course, you see that this is learning path, mentoring, and parenting. 80 impact points means it takes 8 hours. It lasts 8 hours. That's scheduled for May. And what you see in here is this entire setup, who is facilitating, what is being done, yeah, all this. And again, Pauline, because you also asked it, so I press here on the dashboard, and then I say, well, this is already good practice, but only for us internally. So I create here, create best practice. And again, of course, we go to Robinhood, yeah, and I create it as a best practice in this community. Yeah, and here you have one question, share in the public library, yes or no. And here I choose no, okay? Okay, and then we run through this entire process that also Giuseppe just showed. I have here all the details. Okay, we jump this, but just for the sake of creating it, and we publish. Okay, and here you get now a message. This best practice is only available for facilitators and community mentors in your community. Okay.
So, sorry, another question. So, Knut, that means when you use that, it's like intranet of a company, right?
So that's a good metaphor. I shared in the beginning this slide of global commons and local commons. Like Wikipedia is a global commons. It's accessible for everybody. But the community page on the ARK is a local commons. It's your local community. So you share it only with the local community. And where do you see it? Where do you find it? If you are a facilitator or a community mentor, then you have here the library 3 tabs: published, drafts, private. Drafts is so that you don't lose your work that is in progress, and private is everything that is not public. And you see, here's the course, private. Okay? So that is an additional functionality. And what we will still have to work on is that you also can define to whom it is private. Yeah, maybe you want to share some courses only to your closest team, your facilitators. Maybe you want to share it with a wider audience, or it's really public for everybody. But currently, if it's private, it can be only seen here and is currently visible to people that are at least facilitators. Good. I stopped sharing the screen. Are there any questions for this? It's important that you also somehow understand why we have those different functionalities. Yeah.
I have a question, or maybe a suggestion for functionality, where in any way are the creators of these libraries notified if someone downloads or uses their event or course? I think it could be cool if the creators are notified, maybe with some message, or maybe the users are able to see the number of people who have been able to, who have used these libraries. Maybe I think it will be cool. It will be a good functionality to add.
Yeah, so it's in the pipeline. We are working on a dashboard for this. Yeah? So same as you have a dashboard of an activity, there will be a dashboard for the best practice where you will be able to move it back into drafts and delete it. And besides that, I have some stats about how many times it has been used by whom and how many people have participated. So to have an overview of how much impact we have created with this. And another thing is that if you create an activity, so an event or a course from a best practice, then on the activity page, what the participants then see later on, they will also see which best practice this has been created from and who was the designer, to basically feature the person who has shared in the global commons.
Good. Yeah, if there are no more questions, then I think without any hesitation, we should go to slide 13. What's new?
Yeah, so I can take over. Most of the work has been in the background in the past month, improving the library and the event platform to have a better experience on managing and running courses. One of the things that I wanted to show to you today is limitation in who can see the content of the library. So to motivate people to become facilitators, we only show the library overview for learners or for people who are not facilitating events on the ARK. So I have now logged in with my second shadow account. that
sounds scary.
It's the shadow of myself, of my ego. And so this account is not a facilitator in any community. In fact, I think I didn't join any communities at all.
Yes,
yeah, it's my testing account, okay? So I'm not in any communities. That means I'm not a facilitator on the ARK. I can still see the overview of the library, but as soon as I try to get in, I get this pop-up which says that best practices are available only for facilitators and community mentors. So, and it offers me or to browse communities so that I can join one and ask in this community to become a facilitator on their behalf. Yeah? So this is a clear separation of privileges of who can do what. If you want to be able to use the content of the library, you have to become a facilitator first, or you have to start your own community. And to create a community, you still have to contact us because we are in the beta phase. Yeah, good. So that's basically it. We've got a bunch of other things that are almost done, including the join activity redesign that I will be happy to share next time. So yeah, that's it from my side.
Yeah, but I mean, slide 13, can we go through this? Slide 13 in the slides, maybe I do this. All right, so Giuseppe also created 2 manual videos. Giuseppe, you want to say something on this?
Yes, yes, we have a very simple one, which is the edit activity URL. It's a very simple functionality. You can basically, when you share links, very often you have already a hint of the content in the text of the URL. So maybe, and you might be willing to change it to improve your online activity, especially for promotion purpose, but also because with the duplicate function, it can be that maybe you attach some information to a URL of first activity, and then when you duplicate, you have attached, maybe a session from last month, and you can update it with a very simple click in the dashboard. And the other one is about ARK user roles, which explains something that is very connected with what we have been explaining until now. So basically, with different, practically speaking, with different position in your community, with different roles. In fact, you have different access to the functionalities of the ARK. But of course, behind that, there is also a lot that is connected with the vision and that we have for the ARK as a meaningful social network. Yeah. And we also have now, thanks to Merlin, the German version of the Learning Path video.